okay? You are asked to step up more as your human self. No, your spiritual human self. Your human is what you need to operate your spiritual. Your cells are 100% spiritual. You are not a body that's holding a spirit. You are spirit, but you are also a body. And so as we begin to operate with these new frequencies that are on the planet, the thin veil is very much thin to the point where it's not going to get thick again. So you will have experiences with the other sides or other planes of existence or other parallels to the point a mandala, like you're like I sent something to Amy this morning that had to do with this woman or the daughter is like, oh, my earring. Oh, mom. Or I think she's like, well, honey, your earring's missing. And so they go, well, where was it last? So they go back in there, earring's gone. Move things, do things. And all of a sudden she's like, oh my God, my earring's back. And they both witnessed that it was not there. And now all of a sudden it's there. So it's which timeline do you want to be in? And the more healthier that you are, not right or wrong, good or bad, healthy alignment, meaning a more cohesive, balanced. So this energy field is super important that you have a healthier alignment to help you understand that rings out. Okay. Like if you're watching the news and all of a sudden you know that's a spell now, and you're like, I don't have to believe it, but trigger words, trigger this, fear, and it's not close to home. So inside the ring is you going, and if you can spiritually go, oh my goodness, hold on, my brain is telling me to think a certain way. But yet I'm fully aware I'm a spirit that have awareness, that I can pay attention that I have three brains. Now, we're not going to talk about the three brains right now because of time. But you are a spirit being that can go in the same part that uses your verbal part of your brain is telling you about programs, telling you about fears. Can't remember the guy's name, but he had an experience and I'd love to give him credit. As soon as I find it, I'll let you know. And it's so true what he teaches that I've implemented into what I'm doing. So if your brain is really wonky, energies are off, and you feel like you're in depression or you hate the world or the world hates you, and okay, I should just die because, whatever storyline's happening, you need to understand, you can say, okay, be your spirit self and go, stop. I'm aware that these thoughts are there. I do not have to believe them. So, hey, brain. And you can name this part of your brain. Oh, very good. April Lynn says, I just experienced this. Okay, so you can say, hey, brain, if you're going to hurt me, let's have a contract. So you can name your brain. So you can say, I'm talking to that part of my brain. And so he named his Becky. He says, hey, Becky, I am aware that I should have chosen a different hospital. Now, his son died. He took him to this one hospital and his son died. So this part of his brain is, I should have took him. I should have, could have, would have, should have. It's constantly should have. I should have taken him to another hospital. I should have. So he's getting caught up into this and he goes into all of this crazy feelings and he finally stops and says, wait a minute. So he named that part of his brain, Becky, and says, Becky, we're going to have a contract. You only get two things to say to me, useful or joyful. You keep saying, my son died. He also lived. Useful or joyful? So he gets, again, the brain's going, and he goes, useful or joyful. And then the next second, he's like, oh, he has a message to give to the world about his son. He goes, thank you, Becky. That is a useful thought. Or he'll be sitting there going, oh, and he'll go, wait. He'll go, Becky, useful or joyful? And all of a sudden, joyful, it will come up. So I got to experience this where I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, I go, that's not useful or joyful. And my brain goes, what? And I said, useful or joyful. So you, as a spirit being, can show up and talk to that part of your brain and go, useful or joyful? Useful. And then all of a sudden it says, go give my husband a hug. Oh, okay, I can do that. Thank you. That's useful. So I'm training myself to see useful and joyful. So my husband was, something was bothering him, and I said, hey, let's try this. And I said, he was talking. I said, stop. Useful or joyful? Useful. I says, well, what is it? And then he gave it to me. And instead of going down into that mood, going down into that space, it had flipped his being present, but it flipped that part of his brain to say, oh, I don't have to be activated in that way. So when your brain starts to tell you that you're supposed to hate yourself, say, name that part of your brain. Give yourself some time and say, is that useful or joyful? Now, this is where you have to really define what is useful to you. Turning something into gold, useful, doing something that can be productive and great, useful or joyful. But it's been very quite much useful and helpful that this just this simple little thing about how you can be aware, use your higher self to be aware. I mean, literally, I was like, and then I heard my spirit says useful or joyful. And if you give it into your full identity, which is I am my higher self, and when this human form goes bleh, okay, you still can become aware as your spirit self, looking at all of your parts. You understand? Okay.
And something had triggered me into kind of a shit show. And it was useful or thoughtful or joyful and useful. I grabbed a tool.
Ah, very good. Very good.
And last night, again, useful or joyful, grabbed a tool again.
Very good. So when you can understand your spirit space, if you can really allow yourself to go ask these questions, even if you're still doing it not as your higher self, but as your whichever part you're playing, if you can learn to recognize that the thought is hurting you, say, remember our contract, it's either going to be useful or joyful. So create this contract. Hold that part responsible and say, stop. That's not useful or joyful. Parent that part of your brain and train the brain to fire and wire to create the differences, knowing that it has to go. No, don't want that one. So it has to go and look for, because it wants to problem solve, really, and will get you what you're looking for, useful or joyful. Okay. And for me, if you can't do mind over matter, but you can add that into your repertoire of how to be awareness,